Floridians. How do you feel about the Florida man stereotype? I'm from Florida. It definitely holds up. Depending on what part you're from. At one point I was living in a trailer in the swamp. During the rainy season the water would come up all the way to the back porch. One summer there was a big gator that had been terrorizing folks on the street. Lunging at people on their porches and hissing and just being a jerk. Eventually it went after the neighbor's dog. So they shot it and had a barbecue. Everyone got together and had barbecue gator tail. Got super drunk. And went swimming in the swamp. Was awesome. Would do again. Also one time I saw a very obese lady take a dump on the floor of a Walmart in the middle of the night. Undefined. Yes, it's safe to swim in the water. Most kids and many adults did when I was growing up and nobody thought it was weird. Swampy water looks gross. But the brown color is actually due to tannins. The same chemicals that make tea brown. Alligators are usually big. Lazy. Scaly blobs. They're shy and they avoid people. Somebody was probably feeding this one. When they lose their fear of people, they become assholes. Don't feed the alligators. But don't be terrified of them either unless they're not acting afraid of you. I'm a lady. And the neighbor who shot the gator was also a lady. So I guess this is really a Florida woman story. I didn't see what happened to Walmart lady. I'm sure that some employees saw it since it was right by the entrance. But nobody said anything and she just continued shopping. Later I saw someone cleaning up. I don't think the employees get paid enough to confront her. I can't blame them. I hope she's okay though. It just isn't a proper Florida story until somebody eats a reptile and does something horrid in a Walmart. Alligator is delicious. Though. How does it taste? Similar to crocodile. Touch. I find it entertaining. Weird speep definitely does happen here. I once went to a party and ended up in the start of a zombie apocalypse because a crazy girl bit me on my arm and wouldn't get off me till her roommate came across the room and kicked her in the face. I only offered my hand to help her off the ground and she bit me. Totally unprovoked. I'm sad I don't remember her name or I'd FB message her on our Bytiversary. An Introvert's Guide to Flirting. Part 1. First step. Pretend to need the target's assistance. Second step. Call them a snack. Call them one. Don't treat them like one. I claim it with pride. Did I ever tell you about the time I fought off a 450-pound bear that wanted my barbecue by stabbing it in the face with a 50-cent steak knife? On my front porch? The details. I'm cooking out on the porch. I hear a noise. And look around. A big black bear has been following his nose. Sees me between him and his barbecue. Made a sort of humph. And froze. Staring at me. He's about 15 feet away. On the 3 steps up to the porch. I raise my arms to look bigger and yell, "Go away, bear." But he doesn't twitch. I can see the wheels turning in his head through his beady little eyes. He didn't expect me. But is now considering whether to eat me or just teach me a lesson about getting between him and his food. The door is about 10 feet away. But that's directly towards the bear, not a good direction. No other retreat is open to me. Being on the porch with the grill. Maybe if I throw something at him he will get momentarily distracted or intimidated enough for me to make it to the door. My options are a 99-cent Dollar General spatula, which does not recommend itself as a weapon, or a flimsy plastic-handled 4x2 steak knife which at least has a sharpish point. I take the steak knife by the tip and threw it just like I would expect someone to throw it if they knew how to throw a knife, and the knife was a throwable knife, neither of which are true. Miraculously enough. It hit the bear in the face almost directly on his nose. Point first. And stuck him quite deeply on the muzzle. I mean point. Deep. This is doubly miraculous since I was aiming rather vaguely at the other end of the bear. Throwing really hard is evidently terrible for one's aim. He blatted exactly like I imagine a sheep would sound. Jumped in the air. Swatted the knife out. And fled at top speed. He cleared a 4-foot chain link fence without slowing down and without touching it at all. Oh. And they caught the bear a couple of weeks later about 1/4 mile down the road when it clawed up some guy at a trash can. Identified by the wound on the nose. Almost healed. I'm a mod of r/Floridaman and I approve this message. This checks out. Aside from being a large, diverse state, another thing to consider is Florida's sunshine laws, which encompass broad public record laws that allow journalists to very quickly access police incident reports. I always get the feeling that on a slow news day, reporters from all over the world peruse Florida arrest records online and write stories about the craziest speep they can find, in hopes that it will go viral. An entire section of the Tampa Bay Times used to just be mugshots. It wasn't until last June that they finally stopped. Congrats to Tampa Bay Police for stopping crime completely. Modern problems require modern solutions. I encounter them fairly often and I find it pretty accurate. It doesn't describe all of us, but there are a non-zero number of them in any public space. So it makes sense that it has caught on. I've never encountered a wild Floridian before, so this is very informative. It's pretty bad here. TBH. I guess I don't really have much of a feel for how it really is in other places. But like, I will not stop at a gas station after dark because there are probably more than one Florida man in/around it. To check if a Florida man is there, just scream, "Look! There's an alligator orgy." Then wait to see if they try to join in. Born in the UK to an American mother, and pretty much my entire family other than myself and my parents live in Florida, so I spent a lot of time there growing up. Honestly, I get it. It's obviously not reflective of the entire population of FL. But damn, does some freaky speep go down there. If only people knew how different northern and southern Florida are. We should honestly be different states at this point. Northern Florida is basically just southern Georgia at this point. And the Panhandle might as well be Alabama. Fun fact. After the Civil War, Florida was considering selling everything west of the Apalachicola River to Alabama for $1 million. Appropriate XKCD. I wear Florida woman as a badge of honor, yes. I wrestled an alligator in a Christmas hat. Uncle is a gator trapper for the state who needed help when I was home from the Navy. Who was wearing the hat? I mean, that gator is from Florida, too. The gator. After I made him submit and duct taped his mouth. I've lived in Tampa for 15 years, and that stereotype is total fiction that the deep state wants you to believe to keep you in the dark. Now, if you will excuse me, I have to go freebase some bath salts so I have the energy to wrestle the alligator out of my above-ground pool tarp in the bed of my pickup truck filled with water. St. Petersburg here. Though only one family member still lives there since my grandparents died. I don't care where you come from, gator. I am gonna wrestle you. Kick his ass, Seabass. Whoa. Born and raised Floridian. I feel like it's appropriate and wrong at the same time. The biggest problem with it is most of the Florida men and women you hear about are originally from somewhere else. Same reason we're seen as being bad drivers. No one is actually from here. You throw a million different driving styles into one place, you're bound to have a bad time. From Miami. Definitely bad drivers. Hialeah 2. Got hit while walking to school. BC. The old lady couldn't differentiate the difference between a visible 12-year-old boy walking during a red light and a beeping race car track. Are you round by chance? I think he was oval. But the accident may have rounded him out a bit. I think it's funny that living in Florida, most of the genuinely insane people I have met aren't even from here. They're all people who moved south from NYC. Can confirm that NYC churns out people that are completely insane. I'm from NYC. True Florida man here. The rare Florida native variety. Born and raised in the state. I will tell you a couple of truths about Florida. North Florida is really South Georgia. The further away from the beach you get, the more southern Florida gets, with Orlando being the exception. As with the distance from the beach rule, so goes the same with the distance from I-4. Central FL, basically along the I-4 corridor, is about as normal as Florida gets. That spans from Daytona Beach on the east coast, through Orlando and down to Tampa on the west coast. As for the stereotype, most people will also tell you that the Florida man stories are readily available because of our sunshine laws. It's not that Florida man is any crazier than Texas man or Michigan man. Not sure those are great comparisons, by the way. It's just that the access to the police reports is readily available and easily reportable. We air our dirty laundry. We don't hide it. Michigan man may not be nuts, but Upper Michigan man, like Florida man but with snowmobiles and Viking blood gone goofy. Upper Michigan man sounds like he knows how to party. It's accurate, but the only reason you see it is because arrests are published immediately. Other states have weirdos too. Those governments just don't go out of their way to publish the arrests. We have very generous laws in the Sunshine State. It's rainy. Tune defined. On one hand, Florida man indisputably exists. You can't live in the state for any length of time without knowing at least one. If you don't think you know one, well, you probably are Florida man. On the other hand, I don't think he's unique to Florida. The reason he's so well known is Florida's very broad public records transparency laws, known collectively as the Sunshine Law. In a nutshell, with few exceptions, anything any state government agency does is required to be made public record.